Sure you did.
What if the quiet man behind the counter wasn't just a bartender, but a ticking time bomb waiting to go off? It all begins with a robbery, but the truth runs far deeper and far darker.
All your money in the bag.
Do you know what you're doing? Do you know whose money you're jacking?
The whole story starts with drop bars. They look like normal neighborhood pubs, beer on tap, regulars at the counter, sports on the TV. But in reality, they're secret hubs where mobsters launder their cash. Every so often, the mob picks one of these bars at random. That night, couriers drop off huge sums of dirty money. It gets stashed, counted, and then moved along to its final destination. Nobody knows when their bar will be picked. That way, no one can tip off the cops. It's brilliant, it's simple, and it's terrifying if you're the guy behind the counter. And that's where we meet Bob Saganowski. He's quiet, polite, and almost painfully shy. But behind that mild smile is a man with a very dark history and a violent streak that he tries desperately to keep hidden. The bar is managed by Cousin Marv, Bob's older relative. Once upon a time, this was Marv's bar, but years ago, he lost it to the Chechen Mafia. Now he works for them, bitter and humiliated, clinging to whatever scraps of respect he has left. The neighborhood regulars drink and laugh, toasting to their late friend Richie Whalen, who died mysteriously 10 years earlier.
Hey, Cousin Marv, thanks for the drink, huh?
Thanks a lot, Marv.
Hey.
Hey.
Richie, Glory Days Whalen. May rest in peace.
Glory days.
Everyone acts like it was a tragic accident, but in this world, no one dies without a reason. One night, Bob walked home and heard a faint whimper. The sound led him to a trash can where he discovered something heartbreaking. A pit bull puppy that had been beaten, bloodied, and left for dead. Nadia comes out suspicious, thinking Bob is some creep snooping around her property. Bob explains the situation and shows her the puppy. She doesn't trust him. She even takes his photo and sends it to friends in case he's dangerous, but she reluctantly helps treat the dog. The puppy was badly injured, but alive. At that moment, something changed in Bob. For the first time in a long time, he cared about something innocent. Meanwhile, trouble brews at the bar. Two nervous brothers plot a robbery. The younger one is terrified. Everyone knows Cousin Marv's bar is mob-connected, but the older one insists this is their chance to prove themselves. That night, masked men storm the bar with guns. They shove Marv against the counter and demand the cash. Bob stays calm, observing every detail. He notices one of the robbers has a broken wristwatch, a tiny clue that could matter later. The thieves leave with about $5,000. In the alley, the staff finds Randy, another worker, beaten nearly to death. Soon after, Detective Torres arrives. He presses about the robbers, but Bob can only offer one detail: the broken watch.
But, I could see his wrist.
And it was stopped?
Yeah, that's right. It says 6:15.
Marv was furious that Bob shared this. The Chechens don't like loose tongues. Information is dangerous, and now they're exposed.
Why the fuck would you tell that cop about the watch?
Bob starts bonding with Nadia. He's clueless about dog care, so they shop together for food and supplies. Nadia prefers the name Rocco, teasing that Bob's idea of Mike is a terrible name for a dog. Slowly, a fragile friendship forms, but danger lurks. A punk named Eric Deeds appears, watching them from afar, and soon he claims Rocco is his dog. The Chechens don't mess around. Their boss, Chovka, shows Marv and Bob one of the robbers captured in the back of a van. The man is tortured, his foot bolted to the floor. Chovka wants answers. Who else had been involved? And how had the cops learned about the broken watch? Bob tried to apologize, but Chovka's warning was clear: find the missing money or pay the price. Eric Deeds keeps appearing, bullying Bob and Rocco. He barges into Bob's house uninvited, claims Rocco is his, and taunts him about Nadia. He even mentions Richie Whalen, the man whose death still haunts the neighborhood, implying he knows more than he should. Eric was dangerous, unstable, and obsessed with control, and yet Bob, strangely calm, doesn't seem afraid. Back at the bar, Marv and Bob found a severed hand wrapped in blood-stained money, the same amount, $5,000, and the same broken watch from the robbery. Someone was sending them a very clear warning. In a twist of events, Marv is secretly involved in the robbery, orchestrating it with Fitz, one of the brothers. He's been robbing the Chechens out of spite and has more plans on how to bleed the Chechens. Marv hatches a desperate plan, robbing the bar again on Super Bowl night when the biggest drop of the year is scheduled. This time, he enlisted Eric for the score. It's suicide. The Chechens will kill them all if anything goes wrong. But Marv is blinded by bitterness and greed. Bob and Nadia grow closer. She revealed her troubled past, how she had once been addicted, and how in her darkest moment, she had even tried to end her life. She survived, scarred, but stronger. Bob listened without judgment, something no one else had ever given her. But Eric keeps stalking them. He demands $10,000 for Bob to keep Rocco, threatening to hurt Nadia if he refuses. On Super Bowl night, the bar is packed with cash. Mobsters arrive one after another, dropping off bags of dirty money. It's tense, silent, and dangerous. Marv lurks nearby in his car, trunk lined with plastic. He's planning something deadly. Inside, Eric shows up with Nadia. She's terrified, forced to come with him. He flashes his gun, hinting that Bob's time is up. Bob, still quiet, still mild, makes Eric an offer. Take the money, leave Rocco, and walk away. But Eric mocks him, asking how much Nadia is worth instead. And that's when Bob finally reveals his truth. He told Eric that he was the one who killed Richie Whalen. 10 years ago, Marv was drowning in gambling debt. Richie Whalen had paid him back after a casino win, but Marv couldn't let the mob find out, so Bob did what had to be done. He shot Richie twice in the face and made the body disappear. The whole neighborhood had whispered about Eric as the killer all these years, but it had been Bob all along. Eric, stunned, barely has time to react before Bob pulls out his gun. Bob fired 2 cold, precise shots, and Eric fell dead on the barroom floor. Eric's phone starts ringing. Bob answers, and it's Marv on the other end of the line. Bob turned to Nadia, calm as ever, and told her that she was safe now. Marv, on the other hand, is executed by the Chechens. For his loyalty, Chovka rewards Bob and officially hands him the bar. Detective Torres arrives afterward. He knows something isn't right. He suspects Bob killed Richie. He suspects Bob killed Eric, but he has no proof. All he can do is watch as Bob wipes down the counter. Business as usual. Bob visits Nadia with Rocco. In his quiet way, he explained that he had done what he did because Eric would never have stopped otherwise. Nadia felt torn. She was afraid of him, yet she also saw the man who had rescued a helpless puppy and shown her kindness when no one else ever had. In the final moments, Bob plays with Rocco in Nadia's yard. For once, he looks almost happy, almost normal. This is a 2014 crime thriller, The Drop, a story about money, loyalty, and the violent past you can never truly bury. Did Bob finally find peace? Or did he just bury his darkness under the floorboards of Cousin Marv's bar? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you want another twisted story about crime, betrayal, and hidden secrets, click the next video on my channel. Trust me, it's even crazier.